It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday, March 6th. We have some sad news to talk about today with tragedy striking sister wives. Also, talking about Scheana Shea crying for a solid hour on last night's Vanderpump Rules, plus some news about Giselle Bundchen and Kate Middleton. Lots of stories coming right up on Daily Dose of Donna. Thanks for being here, you guys. I'm happy to have you. Welcome to the show. The weather is back to being dreary here in Los Angeles. As you know, I'm also a weather girl, and I like to share that with you every day. And it's kind of my mood today. I'm feeling a little bit low and slow, just like the beef brisket I'm cooking in the slow cooker. A little bit like low energy. Didn't sleep so good. Lots on my mind. I had a dream that I was in a play. What do you guys think this means? Dreams are so interesting. What do you guys think this means? I had a dream that I was in a play and I had all my lines down. Like I was prepared. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I knew exactly how I was going to approach it. I had family and friends, people I was trying to impress come to the show. And then right before the show started, I noticed Sean Penn was in the audience. Now, let me just share this with you guys. I don't think about Sean Penn. I don't talk about Sean Penn. Sean Penn is not in my universe of day-to-day people that I'm talking about, whatever. Sean Penn is in the dream. He is at the show. He's watching this play. But 5 minutes before the play has started, I've been given a new script. And I don't know any of the blocking, like the movements. I don't know where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, when I'm supposed to say it. And you guys, I bomb to no end. I've never done so badly in my life. I couldn't get it together. Like the director kept coming over to me and was like, Donna, come on, you're missing. I could not get it together. I just remember being in a panic and I woke up drenched, just like completely in a sweat because of it. So that's how I started my day. What does that mean? It means I'm not prepared with something in my life. It's okay. This hour always puts me in a good mood. So I know by the end of today, I will feel better. Just a heads up, we will not be discussing Love is Blind today. No spoilers. You watch this show. Do not be worried because I haven't watched Love is Blind. I've already had to completely go, Amish and get off the internet this morning because it's very hard to avoid spoilers. I don't want to talk about Love is Blind until tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be talking about it. Now, I am so sorry for those of you that cannot watch that final episodes today, but there's no way I can wait until Friday. That's just a no-no, right? Tomorrow, Love is Blind. We'll talk about Love is Blind. We'll talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Thursday, that's tomorrow, Thursday. Friday, we're going to talk about the Traitors finale, Traitors reunion, and Summer House. After Traitors, I'm so sad about it. I just love that show so much. So anyway, we will definitely get into all of it, but don't you worry about spoilers. The only spoiler you're going to get today is Vanderpump Rules, which has been spoiled for you because you are a human being and you watch YouTube and you watch, you listen to podcasts. So everything we heard on the show, we know. Everything we're watching. I mean, for the most part. There's a couple things that I've definitely been, interested in. So a couple of you guys have come out with my dream analysis. And that is the wonderful thing about doing these shows live. Apparently, because Sean Penn married Madonna on a cliff, that there was helicopter footage, according to Leslie. Now it looks like Josh says that my dream means I should marry Madonna. Okay. That's what I'll take from that dream. Okay. Listen, I would happily marry Madonna if it meant that I could just sit living pretty. Living pretty. Is that what you say? Sitting pretty? Sorry, Lance, Josh says. I think Lance will be okay. Yeah, Madonna is here in LA. I saw that she performed on Sunday, and I was wondering what time she went on stage because I know that that was like a big concern with Madonna fans. People were very concerned about how that would affect their night because she says, "I'll be," the show starts at 8:30, and then she shows up at 10:30 on stage. Personally, I can't handle that. Another option for my dream, let's just take this as far as we possibly can, that Donna and Madonna will be scissor sisters. Madonna is an M name. Morgan Wade is an M name. Donna should marry Morgan, or maybe I should marry Kyle Richards. Why aren't we? Maybe Kyle Richards is what I'm going to end up with. So let's just let's just keep this going as far. It's like the 6 degrees of Sean Penn in Donna's dream. So apparently, the being unprepared in your dream is a normal dream. It's something that a lot of us have gone through. I get it. I feel it. But here's the thing, okay? I want to remind you guys that this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp and how important it is to give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/Donna. That's DANA, and get on your way to being your best self. So in my dream, I could have used some BetterHelp. And I'll tell you why. I think BetterHelp would give me some sort of calming techniques, some sort of ways to approach the situation better rather than, freak out, sweat, run away, cry, all the things I did in my dream. So I really think it's very important that you guys recognize that, we can all use some extra help in our lives. And especially knowing that the time is changing. We have daylight savings coming right up, right? Daylight savings is on its way. And if you knew, even though we don't have an extra hour in the day, if you didn't have an extra hour, other than taking a nap, watching Love is Blind, or any of the other things, what would you do? If time was unlimited, how would you use it? I think the best way to squeeze that special thing in your schedule is to know what's important to you and make it a priority. And therapy is what can help you find what matters to you so you can do more of it. So instead of just thinking of, oh, I have an extra hour, let me do therapy. No, use therapy to figure out what that special something is. Is it opening a sandwich shop called Something About Her? Is it getting in a band called Donna Bowling and the Most Extras? Is it starting a dog rescue? There's so many things we could be doing. Is it contouring your face in your vanity for days? Whatever it is, if it's your hobby and it makes you happy and it gives you some, better feelings about yourself, I think it's an important thing. So I think you should learn to make time for what makes you happy with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Donna, DANA, today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Donna. This is my favorite comment, Dee Dee. Dee Dee says, sometimes when I have extra time, I watch Donna's old episodes, especially when Jeff Lewis drama is happening. Maybe I need better help. If you do, you need betterhelp.com/Donna. Watching my old episodes about Jeff Lewis, I get it. We can talk a little bit about Jeff today. I wish there was like some big drama to go over, but there's not really any. And I'm not someone that talks about Jeff Lewis every day. I talk about Jeff Lewis when it's relevant to the situation, when it's relevant. That being said, Jeff Lewis's ex, Chef Stu, just launched his podcast. Good luck to him. It's called something stew. I have a lot to stew. Stew with me. Beef stew. What is his show called? Now I have to look it up. I really, I wasn't even planning on talking about it. Chef Stuart O'Keefe. It's called Don't Let It Stew, STU. Great name. Great name, actually. Anyway, he's going to be talking about, I thought he was going to be talking about food, but I guess he's talking about housewives. Welcome to the club, Stu. Welcome to the Housewives Creators Podcast Club. I see he launched today. I'm going to listen. I'm going to support. I like to support. I like to shout out others and collab and all of that. So Jeff Lewis had Nikki Haskell on his show today, Nikki Haskell and Josh Flagg. Nikki Haskell is like a socialite and an older woman. She's been around forever and she's so with it for her age. She's so smart and she's just so witty. And Josh Flagg, of course, is a younger guy than me. I want to say he's in his 30s, but He grew up here in Los Angeles. I think he went to the same high school as me, Beverly Hills High School. He's a real estate agent. He's on Million Dollar Listing, and he's also a personality. But he's a very old soul for being so young. Nikki Haskell is to me, like, I really appreciate an older person. I really look up to older people, whether they're 5 years older than me, 20 years older, 40 years older. It doesn't matter. I find them having so much, for the most part, wisdom. And of course, there's always going to be, people that you don't feel that way about. I'm not saying everyone that is of age, but some people are just, it's like, it's insane to me that you would listen to someone like a Nikki Haskell and think they're boring. They're the opposite. She has so much incredible content. She has so much incredible advice in her stories. And just the fact that her mind can work so fast, she remembers everything. They said something this morning that was so funny. Jeff Lewis asked her, if you get out of a relationship, like when you got divorced or when you break up with someone, do you get right into a new relationship or do you, sit on it? And she says, I am, she goes, no, you know what they say, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else. And Jeff said, well, a lot of therapists say that you should like spend time alone and in your feelings and like work through that loneliness and work through all of that. And Nikki goes, I can work through my feelings at Cipriani's 5 days a week. Like, she's just so funny. Anyway, I'm the kind of person that if I'm in a group, I always gravitate towards the older people. I just do. I don't know what it is. I used to travel with my ex-boyfriend, obviously before I knew Lance, and we used to travel to go to like, resorts, right? We would be in Mexico or something. And somehow I would always end up befriending the older couple. The older, like, at the time I was under 30 and they were, 40s, 50s. And I just loved hanging out with them. What does that say about me? Old soul? Old soul. Just listen to your elders. Okay, guys? It's important. It's important. You never know. My grandfather, I just told you, my grandfather, my stepdad, who's my kid's grandfather, hello, he just turned 80 over the weekend and we celebrated with him and I filmed him talking because he gave a speech and he was talking about, this is so interesting to me, but he was talking about how one of the only things that he thinks is the most important thing is honoring thy mother and father. Of course, assuming that your mother and father haven't been awful to you and, whether it's abusive or whatever, but honoring your mother and father as long as they're decent parents, because we have to assume that they've done their best. We have to assume and give them the benefit of the doubt that they've done their best. And I just always find it so, just like he said that like he was abused by his parents, like, he was obviously raised in the 40s, but he was born in the 40s, but he was like, beat by his dad. But he says, it's like, it could get me emotional, so I have to chill out with this. But he said, I always think about this. My dad used to, if I was in trouble, I would get like a spanking or whatever. But when I was cold, he always made sure to make sure, like, he always put a blanket on me in my bed. And that one thing was enough for him to always remember, this man loves me. And he knows that he can do, I know he's not perfect, but he loves me. Doesn't that take like a strong person to say? I just think so many of us just get so, I hate to say it, but like a little entitled, like we assume to be treated perfectly by every single person in our lives. And it's nice to think we should, give people the benefit of the doubt. Not everyone can express love in the best possible way, especially our parents. Like, our parents are all screwed up for their own reasons. Just like on Love is Blind, no spoilers, but last week when AD was with her mom and she was saying that Clay was struggling to the idea of committing and being in a marriage for a long time. And the mom was like, that's our shit. Like, that's your parent shit. That's not you. Because our parents are not perfect human beings, right? They're not perfect human beings. So how many times have I said and done things that I regret as a parent, right? But I think my kids know I love them. Okay, anyway, that took a little turn. Let's get over a couple smaller little stories that I thought were interesting, and then we're going to have to get into the meat of it, of course, with Sister Wives Vanderpump Rules. And it's just tragic. So, of course, trigger warning, we will be talking about gosh, am I allowed to say this on YouTube? Um, we will be talking about ending your own life. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, so I just have to be very careful about this. I don't want this to be a show that gets like penalized because of it. Let's first talk about Giselle. Giselle Bundchen, obviously known as, supermodel extraordinaire, and then famously married the biggest quarterback at the time, Tom Brady. And they've had kids together, and they were married for years. And they most recently divorced, I want to say a year ago or 2 years ago. I can't remember. 43 years old. Oh, yeah, 2022 is when they divorced. So she's 43. And she has a new interview coming out with Robin Roberts on Nightline. And it's called Giselle Bundchen, Climbing the Mountain. Interesting name. I mean, she's not a climber, but okay. Maybe she is. So it's talking about her divorce. They married in 2007. So they were married 15 years. And then they have 2 children, Benjamin and Vivian, 14 and 11. And she's definitely moved on. Obviously, she's in a new romance with a jujitsu trainer, but she couldn't help but show her sadness when Roberts asked her about the split, remarking that the supermodel has likened her divorce to the death of a dream. Roberts then asked, "How are you?" And she responded, "Well, when you say," and then she started to cry. She says, "Sorry, guys, I don't know. Can I have a little moment? I think there's easier days than others, and I can only control what I do." She hasn't really talked about her new romance or everything. But she said, "Where my heart is now is where I am right now. I am living my truth. I'm not apologizing for it." She later said her experiences with love have made her realize what I want and what I don't want. Okay. So obviously, no one knows the true reason that they got divorced. I don't think it's been like official, but I think what we know and what we have heard is that, or what we assume is that Tom Brady, and tell me if you guys have heard different theories, that Tom Brady has essentially thought, like, he dedicated his life to football. She married him and kind of put her life on hold. And remember, she came into this as a huge A-list supermodel. She wasn't like, you know, I hate to say this, but she wasn't like a Kylie, Jason Kelsey's wife. She wasn't just like, an average Joe. She came in as an A-list supermodel, married Tom Brady, and had to put her life and her career on hold to be the main parent, as Tom probably had to travel a lot, obviously practice a lot, and was busy, really at the height of his career. And my guess is that he was getting close to retirement, and she kept saying, "Okay, it's coming, it's coming." And then once it comes, we can come back to being a family. I can go back to really putting myself first. It's coming, it's coming. And then he famously went back to work to do his last year. I believe it was last season, maybe the season before. And I'm not a football expert, obviously. And because of that, he essentially probably made her feel like he was choosing his career over her. And as a woman who has to put, like, I say this myself just because my husband works a job that a lot of time takes him out of town for 4 weeks, like PK. Okay. And if Lance is on set or out of town, it all falls on me. Luckily, I've, curated a career for myself where I don't have to leave the house. And if my kids are home, they can be home and I can still go pick them up from school. So it doesn't throw me off that much. But if I was someone that needed to travel as well and do things for myself, and I was left as the only parent here because he was busy doing his thing, I think that builds resentment. It just builds resentment. These are conversations that you're supposed to almost have like before you get into marriages. So Leslie says, wasn't Tom with an actress and pregnant when he got with Giselle? Or am I making that up? And the answer is yes. And I'm glad you brought that up. Bridget Moynihan, Steffi K says. Bridget Moynihan was his actress, I want to say wife, maybe just girlfriend, and they were pregnant. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting dynamic that I think happens over and over and over. You don't have to be a celebrity for this to happen. I think in a lot of cases, one person, I hate to say it, most likely the woman has to put her life on hold for the husband to go out and just like pursue their dreams because they're at the height of their career. Maybe they're making more money and you kind of just have to go with it. And I think a lot of women, this is probably going to sound like stereotypicals, but or like, I'm not trying to stereotype what women feel, but I think a lot of women, if they are mothers, enjoy, being around their kids and don't imagine like wanting to not be around their kids and just have nannies raise their kids while their husbands are off working. So they choose to stay home. Anyway, it does definitely create a power dynamic that makes it very difficult. It does. So it does make sense. I get it all. I do. Just staying in the royal world very quickly, I wanted to touch on how Prince William has now, this is the article, okay? It's on page 6. Prince William has broken his silence regarding Kate Middleton's, quote unquote disappearance, not disappearance, but like being MIA basically on the, like in the public, and everyone's been talking about this. And then she was, we heard she had this abdominal surgery, and then all of a sudden, she was seen after the public started questioning everything. She was seen, and etc. However, his breaking his silence is basically him saying it's not even him; it's a spokesman for him, and the spokesman for Prince William essentially just says his focus is on work and not on social media. So he broke his silence by saying nothing. I find it interesting. Let her be, do what she needs to do. And I hope she's okay. That's the most important thing. And it's interesting that like the whole world, all eyes. And then people are breaking all this stuff down, like conspiracy theory. That wasn't like I got DMs. I got so many DMs when I posted that Kate Middleton was seen in that car. And I got so many DMs, like almost mad at me saying, like, that's not her. That's Pippa. It's so obvious. And I'm like, well, number one, it's not to me because I am not an investigative reporter on the royal family. Like from a distance, it looks like Kate Middleton. Then another person, I think it was Face Reality 16, was like, what in the, AI is this? This car has like 16 wheels and they're dissecting this picture. Was it like a fake picture? I don't know. I'm sure she's going to be fine. See, right now in the comments, the British media isn't reporting on the photo of her. I don't think it's her. I don't know, you guys. Don't know. Okay. Let's move on. We have to talk about this absolute, just insanely tragic news. And that is regarding the Sister Wives star, one of the Sister Wives star, Janelle Brown's son, Garrison, was found yesterday dead in his home in Flagstaff, Arizona, at 25 years old by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The fact that this is happening, and I have a lot of information to talk about. This is just really, really, really sad. The fact that this is happening is just so big. And I'll tell you why it's affecting so many of us, because I posted about it on Instagram and TikTok, and just the response has been huge. Like this is a video that has been commented on my TikTok. I always think like, if it gets really, really popular on TikTok, meaning a lot of people are commenting on it, engaging on it, saving it, sharing it, it's because so many people are affected by this. A couple other videos that had the same kind of response were videos about Kyle Richards and like Mauricio separating, or videos about Dave Hollis when he passed away, which was like shocking to people. Videos about, Vanderpump Rules sucking. Sorry. But anyway, this video, as of yesterday or as of this morning, it's been viewed. Gosh, this is not even refreshing. It's been viewed almost 400,000 times, and it's been shared almost 1,500 times. People are just really, really upset by this news. I reported on it right when it got announced. So essentially, what happened was allegedly yesterday, Tuesday morning in Flagstaff, Arizona, Garrison's brother, Gabriel. Now, if you guys remember, and I'm just going to start off by saying this, Sister Wives is a show that I have watched religiously since season one. It's been on for, I think, 18 seasons. It hasn't been on air for that many years. But in fact, I just sent myself a article that hopefully has some information. By the way, I just want to let you guys know, I am not the best with like the amount of kids and how many and how old they are. So if I get some of these details wrong, I am so sorry. Just let me know in the comments. I know the general stories, but I don't sit and like know all the dates and the ages and the years and the siblings' names, etc. Um, so we have been following them since 2010. So where were you guys in 2010? Okay, in 2010, I was just getting engaged to Lance. Like a whole world has passed since 2010. That's 14 years of our lives, 13 and a half or whatever. My kids weren't even born yet. So when you think of a 25-year-old, and we've been watching the show for 14 years, we have been watching Garrison Brown, Janelle Brown's son, since he was 10 years old. Why is that so hard for us to understand right now? Because we have been watching these children grow up. Reality TV is going to take a whole new meaning as we get older with these shows, and people, it's going to happen eventually, will start to pass away, right? Some of the reality stars that we grew up watching on The Real World. And of course, we have had deaths already. Like there have been drug overdoses. There have been, car crashes. There have been cancers. There have been untimely deaths. We have seen situations like this where people take their own life. But there's something about a child. And I know that this has happened before, like on TLC shows. It's happened, I believe. Didn't it happen with Honey Boo Boo show or whatever, one of the sisters? But that just wasn't a show that connected to me at all. I didn't watch that show. I wasn't into it. So like it didn't affect me. This Sister Wives is a groundbreaking show for this reality community. If you like Bravo, you usually like Sister Wives. There's something about it. There's a connection. I talk about it on this show. You guys are big fans, Sob and Robin, the whole deal. So to see this news yesterday literally took my breath away, made me almost want to cry. In fact, I feel like I did tear up. A lot of you guys agree with this. A lot of you are going through similar triggering experiences because it happened maybe to you similarly or to a loved one of yours. Maybe, a father, a mother, a sister, a brother, whatever. This is so sad. The reason why I think it's the saddest for me, well, first of all, let me just give you a little bit of the details of, the discovery. And I really want to be very careful here, not to trigger anyone, not to upset anyone too much. Garrison was pronounced dead at the scene. He was found this way, and this is the worst part, by his younger brother, Gabriel. Now, if you guys remember Gabriel, you would remember him as the one son on the show that cried in an interview. He was one of the only ones, especially the boys, who showed emotion, vulnerable emotion about how his dad and him don't have a strong relationship, how his dad didn't call him on his birthday, how his dad wasn't there for him, right? He's obviously a very heartfelt kid, Gabriel. You can tell he's very sensitive. You can tell he's very vulnerable. You can tell all these things about him. Not to say that anyone is better in these situations, but I do think that some people are going to take this harder just in general in a family, right? So he found his brother this way. Okay. So we have known that the relationships have been really strained between Cody, their father, and them because Cody has selfishly decided to put himself and the younger kids first, meaning Robin and his kids first. And we've seen this play out year after year. And it's left people like Mary, Christine, and Janelle saying, like, you've obviously chosen your person and I'm out. So we've followed in the last few months, we've really followed the journey of Christine Brown getting married to David Woolley, her new husband, Mary Brown going through her relationships, and Janelle Brown going and like finding her own 2 feet and standing up on her own, Okay. Janelle has kids of her own. She is a kind woman as far as we know. Like, I've never heard anything other than that. She seems like a good person. She's like salt of the earth, good person. She's kind, she's sweet. She seems like an incredible mother. I've never seen anything about her that just seems like highly unlikable. She just seems like, there's people that you just want to hug. Like Janelle, I just want to hug her. She just is a light. And so the idea that she's finding this out in her life right now, I can't, as a mother, I can't even imagine what you do. Where do you go? What do you do? Um, Now, yesterday, Janelle immediately, I'm actually kind of surprised by this, to be honest. I didn't think we were going to hear from Janelle or Cody or any of them. I don't follow Cody uh, on what's it called? Obviously Instagram. So I don't know if he's active, but I do follow Janelle and I follow Mary and Christine. And I immediately saw Janelle's post, which posted very, very soon after this news was found out, which I'm pretty surprised by. And it says, Cody and I, and by the way, Mary posted a very similar post. So I think they're all posting very similar things. Cody and I are deeply saddened to announce the loss of our beautiful boy, Robert Garrison Brown. He was a bright spot in the lives of all who knew him. His loss will leave such a big hole in our lives that it takes our breath away. We ask that you please respect our privacy and join us in honoring his memory. I mean, what a good looking guy. What a good looking man this boy was, right? Um, we do know, I'm gonna see if Christine posted. I'm sure she did, if Mary did. Christine Brown. Oh, she has like a new account called Wild Woolly Retreat. Wow. Whoa, this is not good. I don't know where her account is, but I do know that she and her husband, David Woolley, I guess, have an account called Wild Woolly Retreat, which is a new account 5 days ago. And it's about an Airbnb that her and David are selling or renting out. And 5 hours ago, a reel was posted of her putting decorations together in this house. I really hope this was a scheduled post. Like, this is not okay. The day after your son dies. Ay, ay, ay. So I don't know what Christine, if you guys know Christine's, Christine and Robin have not posted. Cody has posted and Mary has posted. Really interesting. Really interesting. Um, why isn't Christine posting anything if they're all posting? I know Christine has always been very, very close with Janelle's kids. She's always, how is she posting about this house? You guys, this is really upsetting to me. Yeah, 5 hours ago. And the comment says, is this a scheduled post? It feels like the wrong timing. Ooh, that's not good, you guys. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to like go after Christine here, but that just feels real bad. Okay. Let's keep on going. So I just saw an article and I haven't even looked at it because it happened 2 seconds before the show and it's on TMZ and it was from this morning and it says Sister Wives star Garrison Brown, his last texts alarmed mom Janelle before his tragic death. Janelle Brown, this was just released at 10:40, an hour ago. Janelle Brown sent one of her sons to check on his brother before Garrison Brown took his own life this week. And the reason she did that had to do with his final texts. According to the police report obtained by TMZ, cops say they spoke with the Sister Wives star Tuesday upon word that Garrison had shot himself, and they describe what Janelle says were troubling messages Garrison had been sending to some people the day prior. The police explained that Janelle told them Garrison had texted a group of people that the Brown family works with, presumably as part of their show, and his words were ominous, so maybe producers. According to Janelle via the police, his text to them read, I want to hate you for sharing the good times, but I can't. I miss these days. It sounds like Janelle caught wind of this message to the group, which doesn't appear to have included her. And she told police that she then texted Garrison himself, at which point she says they had a brief conversation for a few minutes and then he stopped responding. Janelle then contacted her other kids to see who could go check on Garrison, and his brother Gabriel volunteered. Sadly, by the time he arrived to Flagstaff, his brother had died. Here's the craziest part. Cops interviewed 3 of Garrison's roommates with whom he was living at the time, and some of them said they heard a pop on Monday night but didn't think it was a gunshot, and none of them even checked on Garrison to see what happened. As it turns out, it wasn't until Gabriel arrived on the scene Tuesday that he discovered his brother was dead and that he was holding a handgun. He called 911, and that's when the roommates say they realized Garrison had taken his own life. The roommates say Garrison was known in the household to struggle with alcohol. Gabriel, meanwhile, said he didn't realize something was amiss with his sibling, noting he'd recently taken on a new job at a medical facility and seemed to be doing okay on his own. One last thing. Janelle told cops Garrison was estranged from his father, Cody. So he was still estranged from Cody at the time of his death. I wonder how good Cody feels about that. Like, as a father, how in the world could you live with yourself knowing that this is how your relationship with one of your, I don't care that you have 18 or 46 kids, ended? Knowing Cody, he's going to find a way to make it about him. OMG. This is interesting. Steffi says, people, if someone shows concerning text messages, talks, run to them. It looks like Janelle did all she could do. I don't believe Janelle's in Flagstaff. Like, what are you supposed to do other than say, go check on him, you know? It is so sad. He was a veteran. R.I.P. says Seven Gourds. Look, I am not a personal, luckily, knock on wood, I have not personally had to deal with something like this. Okay. I know a lot of people that have, but I personally have not had to. So I don't know what the right thing to do is now, what the right approach is. Where do you go from this? What do you do? I don't know. But I do know that in these situations, I think a lot of people go after it saying, what if? I should have. I wish I had. Why couldn't I have? Or if I just did, and really live with a lifetime of guilt that you could have had a change in this person's outcome. And I think for Janelle and for Gabriel and for anyone else that was close with him, I think they're probably going to have to go through a lot of grieving around this and guilt. I think a lot of people go, or the roommates now, these 3 roommates that said that they didn't really think anything was wrong. Like, now they're getting sucked into this and probably feeling like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like, I let that happen. That was happening next door to me and I had no idea. Like, this could be such a trickle situation. Just awful. A lot of you guys in the comments have experienced this completely. And I want to say something because Michelle is saying something that I think is important, and this is not what my goal is here. Michelle said, stop. Let's not go after Cody. He's probably devastated. We have no idea why Garrison took his life. I do not in any way think anyone should be blaming Cody. Like, that's not, what I brought up Cody for was to say, how do you think Cody is coping with this? Knowing that he was estranged from his son at the time of his death. That's what I mean. We don't know. You guys, we've seen this with Twitch. Hello, Twitch. Obviously, there's conspiracy theories around all these things, but Twitch, Stephen Boss, the dancer, the most incredible dancer, successful, financially, sound, married, kids, beautiful home, family, all the things. We have no idea what's going on behind the scenes, and it has nothing to do. In fact, some of the happiest people I know have nothing. So I don't want to ever blame anything. It's usually mental health related. Anyway, I want you guys to know that, I am struggling with what to say and what to do when it comes to these kinds of things too. I just know, how do you move on with the show And I know that this is not the concern, but just as a viewer and as a reality TV pop culture reporter, etc., I just absolutely don't know how you go on with the show unless it completely changes. Um, and I don't know, like, I don't know if TLC is shooting at this time. I don't know, like, what's going on. Michelle just said, I just lost a friend to this last week. And the last time I saw him, he was happy, made us a big dinner with his husband, and then he was just gone. And none of us know why. I'm so sorry, Michelle. I am so sorry to all of you guys. The comments are just like, wow, it's unreal how many of you guys have been touched by something like this. It's just like, any of these awful things, cancer and so on and so forth. Like, we all have our stories, we all have our experiences. I just want us all to think about, of course, everyone but Janelle, because I can't imagine the loss of a son this way. I just can't even wrap my head around that. I think it's going to be awful for every single person involved, but Janelle primarily and foremost. So call or text 988 or chat 988 lifeline.org. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. I always think people feel so nervous to actually put themselves out there when they're struggling. They're so nervous to actually say something out loud because it almost feels like, maybe, is it embarrassing? Is it like demeaning about myself? Like, should I be embarrassed? This is anonymous to call someone like this. You don't have to call someone you know, but trust me when I tell you, like, there are people out there that will do anything to help you. So sad, right? So sad. Anyway, I'm just thinking about you guys in the comments and I can't think of anything that leaves you with less closure. Like, I can't. I just can't imagine what you would go through in this moment if you're a mom or a brother or a sister or anyone that's like, I should have come over last night. We should have gone out for dinner on Saturday. Like, I didn't text you back last week or whatever. It's just such a crazy, crazy experience. And that happens, of course, in any case when it's a sudden loss and you don't have any time to say goodbye. When there's not an illness or a sickness, but it's more just a time when you're not planning on it. But then when it's done this way and when it's self done, you start to say what if, coulda, shoulda, it's just awful. Awful. Oh, thanks, Amy. That is so sweet. Really, really so sweet. In this moment, when I'm going through this conversation about something so incredibly tragic, and it is very, very sticky and very tricky to navigate, and I'm feeling sad, and I see your guys' grief, I get a comment from the most disgusting human being, Amy Adam. The dream means how you handle the show. You are all over the place and like the non-existing script, you don't know how to navigate the show. Amy, I can't wait to watch your freaking YouTube show. I can't wait to watch your podcast. You guys, it's people like this. It's disgusting people like this that I'm telling you make me question why to go live, why to put yourself out there. It's probably one of my Reddits. God damn it. It's so upsetting. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to move forward and let's talk about Vanderpump Rules. Okay? Let's talk about Vanderpump Rules and let's talk about Vanderpump. Let's also talk about the sad, speaking of sad, let's talk about Scheana Shay's Hour of Tears, i.e. Vanderpump Rules. Is this episode 4, episode 5, episode 40? No one knows. No one knows. And the reason why is because Vanderpump Rules is a show. Listen, we all know that it's over after the season. I can't imagine in any world that Vanderpump Rules gets picked up for another season. I also don't know the numbers. If you guys are paying attention to ratings and you guys know what the ratings are, I would love to know. I have not seen any numbers on Vanderpump Rules, which makes me think that it's probably not doing very good. Because last season, when it was doing so well, it was being touted everywhere as like the number one reality show, the number one reality show. This show is quite possibly, and I say this honestly, and I really, really am not trying to be a hater. I really am not. I'm just saying this as a reality TV watcher. I watch it all with you guys. It is a chore. It doesn't feel like something I'm looking forward to. Tuesday nights don't have like that excitement around it. It just feels like, okay, got to watch Vanderpump because like it wouldn't be Daily Dose of Donna if I didn't talk about Vanderpump. It's pop culture. Now, one thing about the show that is completely and absolutely throwing me off so badly is that I feel like I'm high when I watch the show. The way it's shot, the editing of it, the screen, the camera like angle, like they do this zoomed out kind of wide angle a lot. There's a lot of like shifting of cameras, a lot of like it's giving The Hills on crack. It's giving like a different show. It's not Vanderpump Rules, okay? And I'm all about an evolution of a show, but why are you taking something that wasn't broken and breaking it? Vanderpump Rules should be presented in the exact same way that it was last season now. And that's a production value thing. That is like, oh, we have a higher budget now on the show because it's the number one reality show and everyone's talking about it. So let's hire like a bigger team of editors, new producers. I don't know what it did, but it's not working out well for me at all. Now we start in Tahoe at what I consider to be one of the most gorgeous homes. Like I want to rent that place. I saw on the front door, it said a VRBO home, Verbo. Did you guys know it was Verbo and not VRBO? So it was a Verbo home and it looked stunning. They're right on the lake. Now you remember they're right after their night where they went out the night before. There's no drama, no big fighting, no big anything. We wake up in the morning. Well, we see Shishu. Sheesh. Now Lala calls her Sheesh. We see everyone kind of waking up in the morning. James is feeding Graham, hippie. Allie is like doing astrological cards. I don't even know. Tom Schwartz is like rolling over like 7 more Heinekens. Tom Sandoval is like drinking his coffee and journaling. I'm going to read you guys. You know what? This is a moment. This is a moment for, I believe I may have to hit up ChatGPT. Write me a journal entry from Tom Sandoval on Vanderpump Rules. Let's see what ChatGPT can come up with because I think whatever it is will be better than what Tom wrote. Dear Diary. Are you guys ready for this? Dear Diary. Today was a whirlwind of emotions. We had a huge fight at Sir, and it feels like everything is falling apart. I don't even know where to start. It all began when Jax accused me of not being a good friend and not supporting him. I couldn't believe it. I've always been there for him, through thick and thin, but he just wouldn't listen. Things escalated quickly, and before I knew it, we were yelling at each other in front of everyone. I hate confrontation. So this whole situation really threw me off. I don't understand why Jax is acting this way. I thought we were friends. It's so frustrating. On top of that, things with Ariana have been tense lately. I feel like we've been drifting apart, and it scares me. I love her so much, but sometimes I don't know how to make things right between us. I know I can be a bit dramatic sometimes, but all of this drama is just too much. I need to figure out how to navigate these relationships before it's too late. Until next time, Tom Sandoval. Thank you, ChatGPT, for writing a journal entry that is better than what Tom wrote, which was like, your diary, dude. Today was like the most wild experience I've ever had in all my years of filming Vanderpump Rules. Okay, so Tom Sandoval is journaling with a headband. I mean, this would be the moment for a prop. Oh, I have a prop for Tom Sandoval's headband. Give me a second. Dude, I'm just gonna like hire this girl, Scheana, and she's gonna come over here and she's gonna like talk to us about like reflecting and like now I'm just like starting my self-help journey and I'm working on myself and like, dude, I just like want, someone to come and help me here in Tahoe and just like, is Raquel gonna call me back, dude? And like, why is Ariana frustrating me? Like, dude, if Lance ever wore a headband that covered his entire head, he would be fired from this marriage. Steffi, thank you so much for that super sticker. That was very kind. Was it about my beautiful poem? I didn't write that or the diary entry. Thank you so much. So then, okay. Then Tom Sandoval is out talking to Shannon. Everyone, if you are watching this, Daily Dose of Donna listeners, dosers, if you're watching this, listening to this, and you have an in with Shannon, the yoga teacher from Tahoe, you send me a DM right now. Okay, connect us. I would love to get her on my show. Shannon seems to get intro to Vanderpump Rule. Like Shannon is good. I love when Shannon sits there and she meets Tom and he's like, yeah, so like, dude, I had an affair with my friend and Shannon's sitting there. She's like, Us Weeklies in my car. I literally I know. I just watched your stories. I am a huge Scandival watcher. Shannon is one of us. Shannon's probably a doser. She probably is. If she's not a doser, she's definitely someone that listens to like Watch What Crappens, Kate Casey, So Good It's Bad. Like she's out there. She's one of us. There's no question. Yoga teacher Schmoga. Okay, yoga Schmoga. So anyway, she is listening to Tom, taking mental notes because she's like, I can't wait to sell this shit to Us Weekly in 1 hour. Now we have an entire moment before this yoga journey where Scheana is talking to Lala in bed, shockingly without makeup. For the first time I've seen Scheana without makeup in a long time. She's so upset. She woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Okay. Scheana woke up on the wrong side of the bed because she was mad that she had gotten zero sleep. She said she went to bed at 2:30 and she woke up at 5:30 because Brock had to go golfing. She's already annoyed with her husband. I think 96% of the reason that she spends this entire day crying has nothing to do with Tom Sandoval. I swear. She cries from morning till night about a variety of things. And I think a lot of it had to do with Brock. I think she's going through a lot of marital challenges at this time and she's projecting a lot of her feelings because you can just immediately feel the way she's so frustrated and annoyed with Brock. She is so concerned with everything he does. He can't do anything right to her. I mean, look, we've already seen them argue about the babysitter. Like she feels judged by him. She's mad that he's not there because he's golfing and he comes a couple minutes late to the yoga thing. Anyway, this I found was interesting. Shannon puts out like 8 mats. Okay. We've got James on one end, then Allie. Then there's an empty mat. Then we have Lala, Schwartz, Sandoval, and another empty mat. I need to ask you guys a question. Riddle me this, if not for production. Why did Scheana take the mat next to Sandoval? I don't care if you didn't think you were going to do a partner exercise or not. Go to the middle mat between Allie and your bestie, Lala. Why in the world would you go next to the person that you're trying to avoid, that you're struggling with? I wonder. It's called production. It's called producers saying, listen, we have an exercise that we're going to be doing where you're going to go back to back next to the person next to you, but we need Brock to be over there. So he's going to be, and then, this is all produced. Sheena's reactions are not produced, in my opinion, but the whole setup is produced. I have never in my life done a yoga class, meditation, spiritual meditation, or anything where I have to sit back to back with someone. Are you okay? Am I holding you up enough? Now you guys tell me. And Shannon, if you're listening, I love you. Shannon, yoga teacher, call me. But I'm confused on this one. Confused. Okay. Then she's already feeling very uncomfortable. She's already mad at Brock because he's late. She's already like on the verge of tears, even before anything starts, just sitting back to back with Sandoval. Her eyes, her face, she just looks so concerned, so upset. She looks to me, she reminds me, I had a friend in college, okay, who was so incredibly sensitive and held so much in that at the drop of anything that would like break her, she couldn't control it. Meaning hysteria crying. Like her lips quivered. She was not able to even have tough conversations without wanting to tear up. So I believe that this is kind of how Scheana is. Anyway, she starts to get very emotional. Then she has to get up and go inside. And she wants Brock to join her in her group with Sandoval. And Brock is like, no, producers told me I can't. No, producers, he doesn't say that producers told him he couldn't, but obviously producers are like, stay out of it. Let Scheana deal with it. With Tom, we need this. This is today's episode is about Scheana and Tom. And Sheena's so mad at Brock. She's like, don't talk to me. Don't touch me. I don't want to talk to you. She's so mad at him. Brock really has to put up with a lot in that marriage. I'm just going to say that. I just really can't imagine. I can't imagine. So then she goes back downstairs and they have this whole long conversation face to face where she says that, you know, Tom's mask fell off and she finally felt like a little bit of that old friendship with Tom Sandoval. Okay. Now we have a little bit of an issue here because obviously Scheana, her ride or die, her best friend is Ariana. And she's concerned. She's concerned that it's going to look like she is not being Ariana's friend because she is opening up and letting these conversations happen with Sandoval. I understand this. I actually do understand this feeling. I understand feeling like you're torn. And she has been friends with Sandoval for longer. And she just really feels close with Sandoval. And he's been there for her. And as we know, has paid money during the pandemic when she was struggling. So like, I get the issue. I just don't get the reaction to the issue. Like the biggest reaction ever in the world. Now, you guys this is not going to be popular. This is not going to be a popular statement, but we've got Ariana and Katie back in LA interviewing people for a magical mystery invisible sandwich shop with Patty. Is that her name? Patty? Who is the person that they brought in? Penny? I can't remember. Who they brought in to help with the back of the restaurant, you know, with the nuts and bolts of the restaurant. This scene was filler content at its best. It is a scene between two people who are doing a job, again, a produced job, interviewing someone for a non-existent store that's not planning on opening anytime soon. They're clearly like hired actors. The second person that they interview, we don't even see her face. The scene starts when they say goodbye to her and she walks off. It's like literally a PA. We see right through this, guys, right? We see right through all this shit. Penny. It is such, I'm so over Ariana and Katie's stories on the show too. And then I realized, you know, Scheana calls Ariana. She's very upset. She's on the boat. She calls Ariana, FaceTimes with her. And of course, in front of, you know, Katie. And she's got that stupid bucket hat. And I'm sorry, I can't at all have any sympathy for anyone that wears a bucket hat. Okay, that's where I draw the line. The Speedo on Brock and the Hawaiian shirt. Lance came in and she's like, Lance goes, is he with Tom Schwartz? Like Lance didn't understand. He couldn't understand like that. Sheena's husband dresses that way. But anyway, whatever. So anyway, Scheana tells Ariana and Katie proceed to give Scheana the most judgmental reaction to anything possible at all. And then hang up the phone and continue to talk shit about her. And then on the after show that airs on Peacock, which is better than the actual show, Katie says, I believe Scheana is a male sympathizer. She only wants to be on the male side. She's always trying to be friends with the guys. I think possible, but I also think that the girls are not very nice to Scheana, especially these girls, right? Other than Ariana and Lala, like Katie's such a B to Scheana. And in the past, like Stassi's been mean to Scheana. Like most of them do not like Scheana. And they're not very nice to her, and including Katie, even after she's made up with her already, is like talking shit about her. She's like, you know, pick a side, bro. Pick a side. Don't you understand? Ariana is just like not going to be cool with you. Well, I hate to say it, but Scheana does have a say in her own experience here. Scheana was heavily invested and involved in this like problem, right? However, Scheana takes it too far because later on, and there's so many other random things are happening, but in the evening when Brock is hammered, passed out in his Speedo, Scheana's hanging out with Lala in bed and they're talking, and Scheana's just, again, hysterical. I mean, the amount of tears she cried in this episode. She's hysterical. She's hysterical. She's hysterical. And the reason why she's actually hysterical is I don't think it's actually because of Tom Sandoval or because of Ariana. I think it's because of public opinion. Because Scheana, we found out yesterday, sits and watches her mentions. She watches people mentioning her on Twitter, on X, whatever. I cannot in any way have a I can't imagine being someone like Scheana on Vanderpump Rules and sitting, meaning so popular, so many people are watching the show, so many people are following you, so many people are talking about you, and sitting and watching your mentions. I'm not saying I'm above it. I'm just saying I can't imagine how hard that would be. I just can't. I really can't. So I think at the end of the day, I find all of them insufferable. I find Katie insufferable. I find Scheana insufferable. I'm finding Ariana a little bit hard as well in these scenes. I mean, obviously, I understand why Ariana is saying, like, I have to cut you off if you're friends with Sandoval. This is so early on. I think what is tough about this is that it does feel a little bit like she is not hearing Scheana out at all. She's not giving Scheana, like, she's like, yeah, I get it. I lost, it must suck to lose a friend. But I think Sheena's really upset because that was the time when she was in Tahoe and she took that picture with Sandoval, arm around him. She talks about him in the show a bunch, and she got killed on social media. And I think Scheana is the kind of person that gets highly affected about what people feel about her, right? I don't know. I think she's too affected about what people feel about her. Who's not affected, I don't think, about what people think about her is Lala. And for that reason, I find Lala, I'm so sorry. My nose got itchy, but I swear I'm not on the pasta. I've never done that. Andy Cohen, call me. We are then, in this great argument between Lala and Tom Sandoval, because Tom Sandoval is like, gag me with a spoon enough, get us out of here with Tom Sandoval. Someone needs to really honestly buy him a book about how to show remorse and how to truly show remorse. It is unreal. He cannot just say, I'm sorry. It's, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, though. I'm sorry, but you should also be, but I'm sorry, but it's so maddening. It makes me insane. Lala's having a conversation with him on the boat, which goes from, and remember, Lala was like feeling bad for him earlier in the morning in the bathroom with Scheana. She was saying, listen, we can't crucify him forever. But then later they're having the conversation and they get into it because she feels mad that he's not apologizing for blaming Lala for not being real when he was the one hiding this affair. And all he needed to do was say, I'm sorry, but he couldn't. This guy has such an ego. Even when he was on the confessional later and he was talking about it, he was saying, I guess it's just because, like, I wasn't being real, like, when I had like a 7-month affair. Like, he even has a hard time admitting that it happened without making like a face. He's not taking responsibility and accountability for his actions. Just like Ariana said, he still can't say sorry for what he did. So I think I understood why Lala was losing her shit. I loved how angry and heated Lala got and how she kept walking off and then coming back in and walking off and then coming back in and then walking off. Like, she would walk away and then 2 seconds later be like, but. And meanwhile, you see James out there holding Hippie on the leash with a curly fro. His hair gets very curly in that boat weather after the jumping in the water. He had such a fro on his hair. I thought he was just a PA. I was so confused. I thought, who's this new guy that's hanging out in the boat? No, it's James. And James is just back there eating chips. He has no interest in this fight between Lala and Sandoval. And then Scheana and her bucket hat have to come in and kind of break it down and make it better. At the end of the day, I will continue to watch it because I cannot leave a job unfinished. However, I can't say that I am enjoying the ride. I find in order to really like a show, you have to have people that you really are rooting for. and I don't feel like I'm rooting really strongly for anyone on the show. Um, I feel like they're all just like flailing in the wind, just trying to figure it out. It's okay. You know, you win some, you lose some. And there's always the valley, which is coming. Anyway, I I struggle with VPR and I continue to struggle with it. But at the end of the day, I will say after today, which was just a very, very tough episode, talking about this is the most important thing we have in our worlds and in our lives is our health, and that could be physical and that could be mental. And today we talked about some really tricky subjects, reminding you about betterhelp.com/Donna for 10% off if you want, because that is a very affordable way to talk to someone. But also, I think it's really important to remember that these people on these shows are human beings. And yes, they sign up for this, they sign up for the public scrutiny, and we can talk about them. Um, but we have to be mindful of what we say and where we say it, because as you can see from Scheana on the show, words matter, and she gets very affected by people talking badly about her. Um, I lost it during the show because I got, you know, someone mean in my comments, and it hurts, and it's hard when you're going through something and you're being vulnerable. um, so we have to be mindful, and especially online. Online people and online personalities can be the most, especially those hiding behind a username, especially anonymously. Those can be the most hurtful people out there, and they can actually affect people. And God knows, and I hope not, that Garrison Brown, the show is dedicated to Garrison and anyone that is suffering, because let's hope that he didn't spend his days reading what people would say online about him and his family. And honestly, I truly believe that we are better than that. We are better than that. We like to have fun and talk about this, but at the end of the day, these are all human beings. A lot of them are mothers, their daughters, their sons, their brothers, their friends, and they're people that we should not be tearing apart online. Does that make sense? I don't know why. I just felt the need to just kind of share a little bit of the importance of being somewhat conscious and mindful of the fact that whatever you say about other people could potentially be read, heard, and seen. We all have an ability to get in front of these people's eyes because of social media. So it's really, really tough. It's really tough. Just be aware, guys. Um, I hope everyone is doing okay. Happy Wednesday to everyone. And if you ever need anything, I am in your DMs on Instagram, specifically at This is Donna Bowling. You can always reach out to me. I may not know you personally, but I will always be a listening ear, eye, anything, and help you if I can. So I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And I love you. And I'm honestly rooting for you. Okay. Bye.